Howdy guys, lovely to see you all again. Welcome to lesson 300 of Learn That Solo. Yay me, I really need to get a better hobby than this, but anyway, it is what it is. Today we're going to be looking at the solo from Dani California by Red Hot Chili Peppers. It is quite delicious. Let's take a look. Alright guys, let's look at the first section. Keep in mind this is going to be working predominantly around the D minor pentatonic. I'm going to slide into 12 of the 5th, then I'm going to play 10 of the 4th, and then play 10 of the 2nd and the 3rd string together as a cheeky double stop. You give that a slight vibrato when you get there, and I'm going to resolve to 12 of the 4th string all together. Hopefully that's all making sense. Then I'll work into this phrase. So this is essentially 4 pull-offs in a row from 8 to 10, but you'll notice that my first pull-off has got that grace note slide from 12 to 10. So I'm going to do that grace note slide from 12 to 10 with a pull-off to 8, and then do 3 more pull-offs, and altogether we're going to have 4. At the end of that phrase, I was resolving to 10 of the 6th string. Hopefully that's making sense. Altogether thus far, hopefully that's making sense. Then I'll work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm doing another grace slide from 3 to 5 on the 6th string. And then I've got a hammer on from 1 to 3, and then I go back to 1. That was on the 6th string as well. At the end of that, a very quick slide from 3 to 5 on the 5th. It's going to kind of be the premise for a lot of the licks in this solo, is kind of all working around that idea. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. So it's going to start off exactly the same way as the last phrase, ending on 12 of the 4th string. And then I'm going to slide back into 12 of the 5th string again, and I'm going to play 10 of the 4th. And I'm going to do those 2 notes 3 times. It's just we're going to have that slide entry on the first one. Hopefully that's making sense. And then I'm resolving to 12 of the 4th. At the end of that, I'm playing 14 of the 3rd string, and then I'm playing 13 to 15 on the 2nd. So the most recent chunk is going to be this. Hopefully that's making sense. So this is half of the first section. We are going to repeat a lot of stuff in the second half, but let's have a look at what we've got thus far, and then we'll work on the next chunk. Okay, we're going to repeat that first chunk again, but the pull-off section is going to be a little different. So all that's changing here is I've got the slide in into a pull-off, another pull-off, and then just a single 10. Then at the end of that, I'm doing the pull-off again. So instead of 4 pull-offs in a row, it's 2, the single note, and then the 3rd pull-off. The next chunk is going to be exactly the same. So this is sort of the 3rd chunk of the first section. Very similar, just a little bit different on the pull-off front. And then the last chunk we do is going to be exactly the same, but we're going to have a little bit extra at the end. That's all the same. Then I work into this phrase. All right, let's slow that down. What I'm doing here is I'm playing 14 of the 3rd, 13 of the 2nd, back to 14 of the 3rd. So all together, and then I work into this phrase. I'm doing exactly the same 3 notes 5 times in a row. So I'm going to be playing 15 to 13 on the second string and 14 of the third. And as I said, I'm going to do that group of 3 notes 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can add a slide of destiny at the end of that. So go through that last chunk and then we'll put the whole thing together slowly and then do it again even slower with some tabs. All right, one more time from the start of the section at a gentlemanly pace, and then again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, so the second section is going to be quite similar to the first. We've just got a couple of nuances and little differences that I want to highlight. So we're going to start off with this. So already that's starting quite differently, but the very start of that is exactly the same. So that's the same, and then I want to slide into 12 of the fifth and play that 12-10 idea 3 times. So that's all the same at this point. Then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm going to slide from 12 to 10 on the fifth and then pull off to 8. Then jump to 10 of the sixth string. So that's got a bit of a grace note feel at the end of that. So after I've gone to 10 of the sixth string, I'm going to play 8 of the fifth and then slide to 10, 12. And then from that point, playing 10 of the fourth string. To finish that phrase off, I'm just going to do that slidey pull-off phrase again. So both sides of that riff are kind of the same. Hopefully that's making sense. Let's put that all together slowly and then we'll have a look at the next chunk. Hopefully that's making sense. The next phrase is going to be very similar to something we saw in the first section. It just has a slightly different nuance in the middle, and the bend at the end is a little different as well. Let's slow that down. So the start's the same. Now when I go to this 12-10 phrase, I'm not playing 12-10 3 times. I do it twice with that slide entry, and then I want to go dead 10 instead of 12-10. Could have been an accident on the album, but if I'm being my usual pedantic self, I'm putting it in to just be as true as I can. So we've got, at the end of that, resolving to 12, and then this part, a bit more exaggerated on that 15. I'm playing 14 of the third string, and then 13, 15 on the second. After I've sustained that 15 for a little bit, I've got that full tone bend. And that's pretty sexy there. So let's put that all together. Hopefully that's all making sense. Let's have a look what we've got thus far, and then we'll add the last chunk. The last chunk is going to be very similar to what we had at the end of the first section with the pull-offs here. So we've got so it's all very similar. We've got that slide into a pull-off, another pull-off, single note, and then that pull off. That's exactly as it was in the third section. Hopefully that's all making sense. We've got 3 chunks now. Let's work through all of them nice and slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. Let's try that one more time with some tabs. Okay, section 3, this is when things get a little bit cray. You'll probably want to crank some extra gain and distortion on this part, and even if you want to add the wah and even a bit of chorus just to make things extra crazy. So I'm going to start off with a relatively simple phrase. We just want to play it quickly and multiple times in a row. So I've got a bend from 12 of the 3rd string, and then I'm doing a hammer-on pull-off, going 10, 13, 10, and I want to do that idea 10 times, or you can think of it as 2 groups of 5. 1. Easier for me to count it in 2 groups of 5. I don't know why, it just works that way. And at the end of the 10th group of that, I'm going to add a hammer on from 10 to 13. Hopefully that's making sense. And then it gets a little bit shreddy. Now you don't have to be ridiculously neat if it's drenched in distortion and wah. It's not particularly well executed on the album. I think it sounds awesome, don't get me wrong, but we wouldn't call Frusciante a shredder now, would we? So we're working kind of in a triplet pulse here. I want to be playing 15 of the 1st string and then playing 13 on every 6th note. So I'm going to go, so I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to do 3 groups of that 6 idea. Hopefully that's making sense. And then after that, the 4th group of that would be, so I've only got 2 15s here. 15, 15, and then 13, 10 on the 1st string. And then I'm jumping to 13 of the 2nd, back down to 10 of the 1st. And you'll notice from the start of that section that I had the ring and the pointer already ready to go there. So we want to do the same thing 3 times and then have that 2 triplets at the end of the 4th group of those ideas. So we'll go through that slowly. Hopefully that's making sense. Now the next bit, when you play it really fast and angrily, it doesn't sound too much like anything, but actually has a bit of a Kirk Hammett vibe. Kind of reminds me sort of a Creeping Death Run. I like to pick it off or add a couple of moments of legato in there, but it's sort of, you know, that angry, messy shred. So we'll work through it in groups of 6. I'm going to be playing 13 to 10 on the 1st and the 2nd string in the D minor pentatonic. Then I play 12 of the 3rd back to 10 of the 2nd. And it's a very similar idea from the 2nd string for the next bit. Let's slow that down. I'm playing 13-10 on the 2nd, 12-10 on the 3rd, and then going from 12 of the 4th to 10 of the 3rd. Back to back. Hopefully that's making sense. Then we work into this phrase. So this one's only across 2 strings. I'm going to go 12-10 on the 3rd, and then 12-10-12 on the 4th. And that's going to resolve to 10 of the 3rd string. Nice and slow. At the end of that, I'm going to do a bend up and back from 12 of the 3rd, pulling off to 10, and resolving to 12 of the 4th string. So to go. And that's the whole duty. So let's go right back to the start again. We're going to do that bendy phrase with the hammer-on pull-off 10 times. That little lead-in, the angry trim, and then almost a creeping, deathy sounding lick. Here we go. One more time with some tabs. And that was the solo to Dani California by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please join my Patreon group if you want tabs to all of the lessons that I do and my solo builders as well. I also have a couple of courses on Udemy that you guys should check out with modes and shredding and all of that other cool stuff in mind. And ta-da! Once again, wanted to plug my first book, Ultimate Shred Machine, which is out now if you want to up your chops in shredding, sweeping, legato, and tapping. My second book is coming out very soon. I'll keep you guys informed with that as well. Anyway, alas, hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. I'll catch you guys all very soon.